Okay, let's move to the next slides. And another thing is that rigging can be anything. Not like that always we are processed to build something character like human being or a game character or a hero or something. It might be a spaceship, it might be a shark, it might be a ship, car, whatever thing you can do. For the next slide, this is bone, which is the pioneer of rigging, because without bone we cannot rig properly. Sometimes we can also achieve the rigging without the bone, but definitely uh, the joints are very important. So I just give you a bit of example, like this portion which is looking like a ball are called joint, and some of the portions are not looking like a ball. This is normally a connection which already has a thicker portion, and some of the portions are thinner or pointed. That is called bone. So there are several misconceptions about all of those things like bones and joints. Definitely that has a combination of it. Like joints means this circular portions and bone means the interconnections. But definitely there are several 3D softwares, for example 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, and many more, which always use the same principle of it. But in Maya you may found joints instead of bone, but in 3ds Max we don't have any option like joints, we all have the option called bones. But all are in same principle, work on same principle. So always remember, this thicker portion are going to be a parent, and this thinner portion or the pointed portion is going to be a child. So if I target this particular zigzag manner bone and joint orientation, that means this tiny circle over there are the children, and this thicker portion are the parent of that particular children, and something like that is going on and on. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 joints here along with 1, 2, 3 bones. So this is a small representation so that you can able to understand what exactly we are discussing about. Go to the next slides. Now the constraints. Now what exactly the constraints? Like bones is basically a armature of the body which hold the whole mesh of the character, or maybe a car, maybe a tank, maybe a gun, or any creature, or any tree. It might be some insect like butterfly, scorpion, dragon. So constraint is also something like that, which also gives us the opportunity to move or orient or scale the object or the joint such a way so that it can be usable in animation or posing. Sometimes what we want, we need some character should be stand or sit in a position which is very important. So that time we might need the help of bone as well as the constraint. We have several constraints in Maya and 3ds Max like point constraint, orient constraint, aim constraint, or look at constraint, scale constraint, parent constraint. So 5 or 6 options, and pole vector also a very important constraint which is basically used for knee movement and elbow movement of human beings or any other creatures. So definitely I'm going to discuss all about those things. So first I just discuss a bit of about this theory. For the next slide, again it's a terminology called controllers. Now controllers is something like that which basically helps us to hold with the mouse pointer, and we can drag to our desired pose, and definitely that is non-renderable object. So in Maya or 3ds Max we cannot able to render elements, which is basically known as controllers, and they are basically helpers for moving the animal or the object or any other devices, whatever you use to your scene. So we have to build in Maya this kind of controllers with the help of curves, which is so-called NURBs. NURBs and curves are almost equal things in Maya. And in 3ds Max, so sometimes we call it as a spline. But all the features are equal. So as per our requirement, we may sometimes take circle, we may sometimes take this kind of rectangular formation, star formation, arrows, locators is also a good collection of controllers. And in my outline, we can able to see the controllers, something like that. Put the name, whatever you are going to do, and add one last portion according to the help of underscore, so that other people can understand what, okay, that is dedicated for the controlling purpose. Unless I am not giving you a small example, you are not able to understand what exactly I am discussing. So definitely I am going to discuss all those things so that you can able to understand. So am I audible clearly? Is there any issue with my volume?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Okay, thank you. For the next slide, that is called SDK. In short form, in full form, is structure-driven key. So I just asked a question: how many people about it? Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you are audible. Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Sometimes
Okay.
your voice is breaking, but now it is clearly.
Okay,
Please
fine,
continue,
fine.
sir. Please continue, sir. Yes.
Okay, okay. So just let me know how many people have the idea about set-driven key. Nobody has any idea about set-driven key?
Yes, sir.
You have or
Yes, sir.
have not?
Yes, sir. I have the idea.
Sir, I have. Right.
Okay. So actually what happens, set-driven key is a process by which we can able to handle a huge complex geometry within a click. But definitely for that, we need to know about some logics, like the programming, like if else checking. So we may not need to write all this programming in our canvas, but definitely the process should be like that. I will definitely give some example of set-driven key. And after that, I should start one live rigging, which is a scorpion. It might be a very interesting to all of you people who have not faced any live rigging process all the way. So I already built that character. All of you can understand and enjoy very easily. It's a very simple character built by basic geometrical structure, so that other people doesn't have any issue, because there are several people who are not who cannot develop their own characters, as because they feel the character modeling is quite harder. So for them, I will suggest definitely you can do your character, but if you face some problem, just start it with basic cubes and try to give the look and feel of that type of character what exactly you want to build. And rather than you can process for proper clean character. So rigging is not a very easy thing, so I cannot complete all the process in a single class, but these steps, which is very important, I already discussed about those things like introduction, joints, constraints, controllers, set-driven key. Definitely, I go deeper on in this set-driven key today. And lastly, I'm gonna teach you how to create that kind of complex rigging. If we have enough time, so we can also try to animate this character also. Okay. So I just jump to my software right now. Okay. So give me a moment. Okay, I have this character. I developed this character for all. This is a very character. If you open this channel, you can able to found there are two groups. One is Scorpion group, another is Gun group. If you select the Gun group, we
So
have
we can't
this
see.
selection. Hello.
So we can't see the software, sir.
You can't see. Just share it again.
It's still, yeah. Now we can see. Now we can see.
Is it clear, sir, right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is Autodesk Maya I'm using. The version are not important. So I'm using 2017. You may use 2021. Doesn't matter anything, because whole thing is depending on your concept. And not really that I'm using this complex feature here now. You may use for two-legged characters, four-legged characters. So I thought it would be much more interesting that if I use 10-legged characters or 8-legged characters. It's an 8-legged character, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8-legged and multiple subdivided joints. Okay. So better thing is that we always focus that we should name it properly, but I didn't put any name as because this is just for demonstration purpose. When you go for the production, you have to put the names all the way. What exactly the body parts, what is the links, the head, eyes, sting, whatever it is. So we have this group because, and definitely for that we can use this kind of things. So we can start with the basic thing. We don't have anything right now. I have a basic shading group, which is just normal bling. You may use a different texture also as per your choice. So I just start with, I don't have anything. First of all, we have to create two things. One, we have to develop a good quality of bone or skeleton structure, which may hold all the geometry along with it. And we need some good controllers so that by using those controllers, we can able to rotate, move, or animate the characters. So that is a good choice that you always save your file proper manner. So there is a outliner section. We don't have anything here. And now I select all those things together and go to that modify panel. And there is option freeze transformation. There is very mandatory things. You have to do that. If you do that, you may found all the parameters has been generated by 000 orientation factor. That means, for an example, if I draw a sphere here, it might have a different parameter. But if I tell that thing that go to the 0 and hit enter, go inside the character. Okay, so that is not the right thing. So somehow I found this is the faulty process of my rigging system. I want that particular object should be started from this axis or this location. So then what we have to do, we have to select that object and go to that, modify, and hit freeze transform. Then what happened? Everything gonna change to 0. And definitely we have some history. You must delete the history by edit, delete by type, history. Those are very common things for rigging process. If you're not able to do that, your rigging will be a mesh. That means you cannot move your character. If you drag anything, other thing also follow the same principle. That means if you want to move your right leg, it may possible the left leg also affect a bit of, because the parametric value which is set by 0, which should be set by 0, but you shouldn't do without the help of this freeze transformation tool. So it is very important. After doing that, you may save the file. So whenever we go for any character, it might be a creature. This is not a character, this is a creature, which is a combination of character and some different asset. So I already put some robotical on the back of it, and this is a kind of biomorphic product, you may say. So we will start with basic things like curves. Select the curve, create a curve, scale it so that we can cover whole area with it, because this is the basic block of this character. Something like my own space, nobody can enter in my own space, something like that. So give that a room to the character so that other people can understand, okay, this is his space, nobody can enter inside it. Okay, so okay, leave it, and you may change the name as global controllers. So global controller, the short form is G and C. Hit enter. Again hit freeze transformation and delete all the histories whatever we have. So global controllers can control whole object along with you, and with the object, that means why we want these global controllers. For example, it might be possible that your friend create one character for you and another of your friend build one scene for you. Now nobody knows the exact dimension of the characters. What happened when we import the file inside the scene, you may face the scene size is very lower or very smaller rather than the character is very much bigger. Then what you have to do is to scale the character together and adjust with the scene. The problem is here, if you are not have any global controller along with you, then you have to select all the geometry together and the bones together and the controllers together, and then you have to scale, and then the problem begins. So we should not have that kind of, we should avoid that kind of issues. For that, we have to create some global controller first. That is very important. Now, with the help of global controller, we can understand what is the space. Now, next thing is that we have to create the bone joints. Okay. So there are several aspects that you can create your bone joint by auto rigging mechanism. There are a lot of plugin here, and if you install those plugins and click once, everything will be done for you. But I don't believe in that kind of things, because they are your talent killers, you can say. If you have some talent, and they might kill all those talents inside you, because you don't have to just switch it on and everything will be do. They will do everything. So that is not the way, because many times that doesn't support properly, because this is a very complex character and it may not be supported by that kind of plugin. So if you have basic concept about rigging, then you can able to do those things. Now how we can do that? Go to that rigging section and we have a joint. Basically, some of the students like they're arranging the joints inside the perspective view, but personally I believe this is not the way. You must go for orthographic view, which is front, top, left, or back, and place your joints, and later you may change from the perspective, but do not start with the perspective. So I go to the top view, which is the best view I believe, and definitely there is an option called extra joint you should on, so that joints can be visible properly. So I click once and hit enter. I don't need to click 2 to 3 times, because you can do that. If I click here something like that way, we may generate a chain of collective joints. Around 4 to 5 years. So as per my view, this type of joint creation is not the up to the mark process. So you should not try this. Delete. We should only click once and hit enter. So we have only one piece of bone, something like this, and now you just align it where exactly you want. Now we should start with our basic joint, which is called a root or pelvic. As this is not a human being, so you have to know the anatomy of this creature. So go to your Google page and search for scorpion and read a bit of theory about it. What is the subdivision level of body? For example, if you want to create one butterfly, then you need to know what exactly is the anatomy of butterfly, what exactly the locomotive system of butterfly, how many wings are there, what will be the divisional level of legs is there. In insect, we found 3 pairs of legs generally. In case of some different parts like scorpions, spiders, we have 8 legs, like 4 pairs of legs. So those are the variations. So I personally feel that this portion will be the best part, that from where we can control the whole body. That might be because if you learn breathing first time, but definitely if you go through it, able to understand what is the exact process of it, and you can understand which portion is the root, will be the root. So practice makes you perfect. So you need to invest some time on it. Okay, I just place them as per my requirement. That doesn't mean that you have to put all the time in the exactly segmented way. You may put your bones wherever you want. Okay, so I just copy it. Before copy, go to the perspective and check what the location it is. Now it's a very downside of it, so we should not do that. Put it here, go to the top view, and we drag it, Shift D, and just duplicate many times. Okay, now extra. I already take one extra. Why? As because it has a curly tail to the right, and try to expand those things. Now again, click here and place wherever you want. So these portions are sting. So I'm not trying to attach this thing with the joint. So I'll complete it here. I don't need any more joint, because that should be my different way to approach of it. Go to the top view again. So this portion is done. Again, copy, Shift D, or Control U, whatever you can do. Put here, create your joints. Now fine. Check once. Yes. Now we have this mandible, which is a so-called mouth, and inside the mouth we have 2 mandibles by which they can cut their prey or they can eat. So what we want to move those mandibles as per their requirement. अगर मेरा animation कुछ करना है, so we can do some like a left mandible, right mandible movements. So copy it again. I put it here and go to the top view. Align it with exactly the mandible like this. Take another copy, Shift D and drag it here. Fine. So I already placed all the bones together. I did not connect. So those are the joints. So I did not create any bones as per our previous lesson. Like say, as per our lesson, we already create the joints. We did not connect them, so we don't have any bone yet. Now we need to create those limbs. Go to the top view again. Copy one of it and drag it to pose exact location what exactly we want. So for that we have to go to that front view because the dimensions might be not perfect from a single view. Go to the perspective also to check. Okay, fine. Take another copy of it, Shift D. Now I am jumping to the perspective as because it's very difficult to align with a different view, but always I prefer to develop the basic joint structure in top or any other orthographic view so that it's very easy to change them. Shift D again. Okay, and again hit a Shift D. Fine. Now after completing these things, I don't need to create all those things here. I want to copy them so that it's a very easy thing, an easy process. So how can I do that? Before going to do that, you want to develop one limb first. So as per my theory, this thinner portion are the children and this thicker portion are the parent. So select the children first and hit the parent and hit P for parenting. So very easily we can connect them together. Now what we want, we have to copy them. But before copy them, we need to do one thing, which is very important. We need to check what is the orientation of that particular joint. So how we can do that? I just select this joint and isolate so that other things gonna go away and go to that modeling, ring part. From here, we have option called skeleton and go to the orient joint option box. Now when we come to the orient joint option box, there is option called toggle local axis visibility. Switch it on. Now after clicking that, you have to check this X coordinate system is always being targeted towards the children. That is very must preferable things that you have to do. This is not perfectly done because this X is looking towards here, but my children is here, so it's not facing exactly direction. So what we can do, we hit this, switch it off and hit apply first. And whenever you hit apply, you can check X is always targeting the children. This is X is targeting the children. Again, there is X which is targeting the children. And this is the children which is targeting towards the empty node. Now when it is empty node, that time you have to switch it on and hit once apply. Then it's rotate and set. Now those things are very mandatory and important things that you have to always check. Now after completing these features, you select it again part by part and hit this button again called toggle local access visibility. Then everything is go away. Switch it off. And again isolation off. Now one leg is done. I just copy this leg. Shift D. Copy this leg. Rotate a bit of. Okay, the rotation axis has been changed. So what I can do, I can take a group node, select this G and drag that pivot point exactly in center of it and then try to rotate. What happens is very smoothly it will connect it. Is there any problem? Then we'll definitely check and we can adjust it. After that, we did not need any group, so we can copy it again on Shift D. Along with this group, we also copy the all bone joints. So again, drag it out and again rotate. So now it's very easy to adjust. It will not take too much time to do that. Bit of issues over there, so definitely we're gonna fix them. So now I don't need this group anymore. So select both of this group, go to that edit and hit ungroup. So again, everything is open. Now there are a little bit of issue with it. I personally feel if you want, you can adjust them. How? Definitely select it and press D and then drag a bit of. Okay. So a little bit of adjustments might be needed. You can do that. Fine. Here's the same thing. Okay, done. Done. So, am I audible? All of you?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you are audible. Yes. Please continue.
Okay. So this portion, which is called left side, we already completed. Now we should jump for the right side. So what we can do, as because it's a symmetrical object, it's very easy to do. Copy all of those together like this and hit Control G. Control G. So they may create one unique group exactly in center, and again hit Shift D. Shift D and rotate itself or flip. Might be -1 axis. So it's a very easy thing to replicate those things exactly in opposite. And after completing all those things, select both of these and go to that edit channel, ungroup. So now sometime it has been create some issues with it. So definitely if it is happening, then do not use it. There are another option which is also very smooth. I will definitely tell you how you can do that. So if everything is fine, I just undo it. Now, okay. Okay, now the time that we should focus on the mandible, main hand part. Again, we can take a copy of it, Shift D, drag it out and place it proper way. Shift D, go to the top view, drag it out. Again, do the same thing. Shift D, Shift D, again put it here. Now again check from the front axis. Is everything is fine? No, this is not fine because this orientation is not matching properly. So what we have to do, we have to check it from perspective and place it proper way. Like this. So again we have to connect them, select both of these together and hit P. Fine, but you have to repeat the same process which we already repeated yet before. What exactly it is? It is again go for skeleton, orientation, joint, and toggle it on. Switch it off, hit apply. Everything is done. Only there is a problem with this and that. So select it and hit apply. Wait it again, apply. So everything is set right now. Okay. Close. Okay. Select all of those together. Orient joint. Toggle it off. Fine. Close. You should need a copy of other side. So it's very easy to do. Definitely, I'm gonna teach you how you can do that. First of all, I don't need this body structure right now. I should off this. Go to the show. There is an option called polygon. Switch it off. So only this joint structures over there. So very important. Then which portion you should be hit for parent. I believe this is the parent. That should be better. So select this both of joint and select this and hit P. Now the main changes over there, if you go and hit polygon off, you see this is a certain point where you can found this is the parent, this is the children, again this is the parent, this is the children. So this is the mastermind of all this character of creature. So this is called the root. So name it as a root. So change the name as root, or maybe you can name it as a pelvic. It's also depending on you. And now I have to connect them together very fast by hit P, and we can do that within a moment. Right, so we have did this all the way. Now what we have to do, we have to select this center. Why everything is going to select? Because this is a root. If you select this portion, this other portion is not selected because this is not the root. And again the same thing, this is not the root, but this is the root. So everything gonna select it together. And after that we have to select all the hierarchy and go for skeleton, orientation, then hit toggle. So there are all the way, all the axis of X is projected in a different manner. So definitely apply. All the X axis has been rotated towards its children axis. So this is very important. So please careful about it. You have to do that. Wherever you go, it might be a good industry, it might be not good industry, but you have to remember those things, which is very crucial. Okay, so everything is done. Okay, done. And again select all of those together and hit toggle close. Now everything is done, and we have to connect it with that geometrical structure. So we can do that. We have to switch it on polygon, set the file once, because if not saved properly, sometime Maya gonna crash and it will be very problematic. But remember one thing, do not try to connect this joint with that bone and this joint with that bone, because the concept of movement and locomotion is not like that. All the joints should be connected from a single bone. This is the process. For example, if I select this 1, 2, 3 and target this bone, so then hit P. That means all the bone should be connected for a single piece of joints, and this is the armature of it or hand of it, so we should connect with a separate bone. So those are the different two assets. So it's very easy to do that. Like select this 1, 2, 3 and over a mirror, go to that skeleton and there is a mirror joint, switch it on. This should be one side and apply. Now the problem is that it should not select together, because Maya cannot able to understand which bone should be the first time you need to duplicate. So I select one by one. This is done. Again, apply, apply, apply. So within some click, we develop a complex skeleton structure. So this is a basic skeleton structure. There's a one step. Now we need to create some controllers by which we have to move those things. So we're gonna do that. Go to that curvature, create some curve which gonna develop some character orientation or discussion, whatever you can say. This is called basic joints or maybe basic controllers. You may change the shape of it as per your requirement, but we don't have enough time to change and shape everything. I'll just give you a small example how we can do that. Right click, go to that control vertex, and if you want, you can change the shape and form of it. Something like that. Okay, or something like that, or something like that. So these are the orientation manner by which we can create a very different kind of shape and forms. It's up to you. The non-renderable elements only using for the selection purpose. Okay. You can use this, you can use that way. So I'm not using right now, I'm just selecting this that way and shift D, try to align it. Also try to align it. It should be brown. You may put proper naming, that left front leg, left middle leg, left back leg, and again put the same name, right front leg, right middle leg, right left back leg. That may possible. So we also need some different parameters in here, but for that we have to snap it with the bone, and we should rotate along with its axis, that it gives me that kind of feeling, or gives us that kind of feel, so that we can rotate along with its axis. And now we can change some structural point so that it might be a bit of different orientation structure. I can create some different structure right now. Okay. And then what we want, yes, these portions. But before that, we should copy all those things together. This should be copy all those things together and hit Control G, Control G, and make it Shift D again. Flip it out. So we have two separate assets. Now select all of those groups, edit, ungroup. So there are several different assets. The important thing is that you should put the proper naming process. Then it's very easy to solve the problem. Now again, we have to think about the head, the thorax, the abdomen, and the lower portion of it. So we must needed some new controllers which might be important to adjust them. So how we can do that? We just, now see there is an issue with it. So let me check what happened. Some of the portions are not exactly matched. Okay, we can solve it. Go to the right, select it, drag it. Don't rotate any bone, okay? If you rotate, everything gonna wind up. As because we already changed some parameters in orientation. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, now select it. And I personally found I don't need this joint, so delete. I end it here. Select it and connect with that bone. Okay, now rotate it proper way, 90 degree. Select it, copy it. Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. Now see, this is the root bone, right? So what we can do, we can change the shape of and form of it. Not right now, but later on we can change. So now switch off this polygon and try to align those things. It's a very difficult to select all those things together and create a new layer for them. Add it in a different layer and double click on it and change the color to yellow so that it's easy visible. Just place them a bit of if there any problem, because sometimes what happen exactly they are not matching with that center point, so we have to align it. Maximum time it will be matched, but sometimes it may create some issue. And go to the polygon. Now that the radius should be gradually increasing or decreasing, then you can already understand what exactly happening. It should be bigger. So we create some structure. Now inside the ground, we may not do that kind of thing. We use this and we may change it to like this way. Shift D, and I just drag here for this portion and rotate this 45 degree around, minus 45. Done. You may scale and decrease the size if you want. And for the root joint, I just change the structure a bit of, so that it's very easy to understand what exactly it is. So something like that, we can change a bit of things. It's very easy to understand what exactly it is. Now I also want a gun control. So I might develop a new controller. Which should I place exactly in top of it? There is an option in curve that degree of it is set to by default cube. You can change this as a linear, so it gives you that aesthetic, something like hexagon or polygonal look. This is section is 8, that means it's octagonal. If you want pentagonal, you hit 5 and hit enter. And as per your requirement, you may change this rotation value. Go to the top view. Maybe you can adjust. Like this. So this is the way that we can develop our controllers as per our requirement. Not necessary that you have to do always maintain those features. You can change them as per your requirement. Fine. So the other things, you can change the color of it also. You can put it in different separate layer, and definitely you can change the color. But right now I'm not interested to change the color. Rather than I'm putting some different element on it. So what we have the scorpion group, which should we put in separate layer. Of this group, we have a bone joints and we have a controllers. So now everything is done. What do we have to do? We have to neutralize the value of the controllers, which is not even neutralized yet. So select all those together, go to that modify section, okay, switch it on, edit or modify, freeze transformation, hit. So everything is set. All things are 0. Now what we need to know, we have to parent them together. Otherwise it's not working anymore. So switch off this joints for a while. And yes, definitely we have to select it and hit P. because again the children and parent relationship is very important. This is the head portion. In a production house, you have only 8 hours to reach a character, something like that. Approximately 8 hours. That means 1 day for a game industry. If it is working for an animation industry, it might be taken up to 1 month also, depending on the complexity of your character. Now I'm selecting all of those together and parent it with the global controller. So I can drag them also together inside the global controllers. And also I have a control which might be affected with the help of this thorax. That means this one. So I just select this and parent it, and everything is done. So everything should be connected inside that GC. There are a very technical thing that I name it a root controller, CTRL for control. This is short form. So every piece of joint structure which has been controlled by those such controllers, you must put the name. But we don't have to put the names. It will take a lot of time to do that. But definitely, it should be preferable that you put something like, if I say left arm control, CTRL. That is the process of putting the name. Control C, and here put the control V and make it to the right. Something like that. We also complete all those things together. Now switch on again these joints. Now we have to save the file and we have to create orient constraint. Now why we are going to orient constraint? Orient constraint gives you that performance, like somebody can rotate this and they can also rotate all those things. Now see, everything is rotated, but the bone is not yet connected. If this is your parent, everything is rotated, see, but body is not rotating. So those are the flexible things that you have to connect right now. So how we can do, go to the constraint section, there is the option orientation, go for it, reset that, hit maintain offset on, and now select the children first in the target, and then select it and hit apply. So select the target source and hit apply. Select it and hit apply. Apply. Now we should not use the same process for the root. This is very important. We'll leave the root right now.
Sir, you are not audible.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Now you're audible. Yes.
Okay. So now something like that, you have to select all those things and connect them. So whenever you feel it's fine, now you may find it. If I select this one and rotate this, you can rotate along with it. Okay, or even you can select all these controllers together and you can rotate them very smoothly. We did not connect the bone itself yet, but still we can able to understand what exactly is happening. Now we should place this empty because we're gonna parent it directly by pressing P. So select this bone and select this and hit P. Now what happened inside that particular thing, everything is parented. So if I move, everything is moving. See, except those features because those are connected with the leg. So whenever you want to connect it with the leg, it's a different approach. So what we have to do, we need to focus on some ICANN FK principle. So select a bit. Maybe it's looking a bit of complex thing right now, but definitely it's not whenever you just practice it. So go to that skeleton. I would like to hit create IK handle, but remember one thing, always reset the tool and we should focus on this rotate plane solver. Click here and here. So we are developing a new system which is called IK, called inverse kinetics. That means if you want to move it, your leg gonna move, and we should move that leg along with these controllers. Whenever you hit these kind of things, you have to do the same thing all the way. So I'll replicate things very fast, so that is not a tough thing. Just click and click. Repeat the tool. Do the same thing. Now remember one thing. We need to set that leg that it might be feel the character has been grounded. So to do that, we have to go to the IK again, and right now we are doing the rotate plane solver, but you have to change it with a single chain solver. Now whenever we change the single chain solver, it will work for only single chain. So this is for multiple chain, but right now we are projected in the single chain. So we select this portion and the last one and repeat the process for everything. Okay, repeat the process for everything. When you feel that everything is fine, then what we have to do, we have to select both of these controllers together and parent it with controller. Hit P. Okay, so this is done. Now we have to check this. What exactly happening? So select that point and try to move it. Now see, all those links are connected each other. So which is looking good. Now we have to connect this thing. So we can do that. Okay, there's also a hand. So we must go for again IK and change it. It should be single chain. It should be rotate plane. Click here. The same thing. And now we don't need to create one single solver as like leg because it's arm. So we should not do that. We should directly parent it. Directly parent it. Now, whenever we parent it, we need to orient that thing with the armature also. So what we have to do, we have to select it again, select the joint, go to the constraint and hit orient constraint. Same process, select that controller, select the joint and fit. Constraint. Now I don't want to visible this IK. So show IK should be off because it's very clumsy, right? So if you select this, you can see arm is moving. Not only that, I can try to rotate this. Fine, that is possible here. I can also move my leg, and if you want to rotate this, you can rotate. So save it again. Now switch on this polygon. Okay. Now we have to connect them together. Now how we can do that? For a skin parameter, which is very easy to do that, select the whole scorpion group. But remember one thing, this gun palette should be outside of it. So what we can do, select this gun palette and drag it outside the group and leave it here because that is a different part. So select the scorpion group and select the whole joint process. Go to the skin deformer, bind skin process, and just select it. Okay, as there is an option called geodex voxel. You can select this and hit bind skin. It will take a bit of time to bind it together because there are plenty of joints, and when you complete it, you can see I just switch off this right. So I only came up with this controllers. So this is the parent. Okay, so it's already horrible looking a creature which is might be populating with different thing. Now problem is that the gun is not moving around because we are not connected that thing together. So what I have to do, we have to select gun and switch on this joint again and parent it by pressing P. That's all. Now if you do that, it will work. Not only that, if you want to select any of it, if you want to move those things, because we are not putting any movements, we always put the rotation value. So हम लोग को क्या करना पड़ेगा? We have to rotate those things like this. It might be targeted towards a enemy ship or spaceship. Might be target. Okay, and might be fires up to some time. Okay, definitely we're gonna change the arm as per my choice. Can also rotate the arm as per my requirement. Definitely, we have a scope that also we can switch off this armature. Okay. That is can do. Okay, so let's check what about this tail portion. So there are pretty much tail. You select them all together so that create such beautiful things. Fine. So it's very audible looking right now. Also, we can rotate anywhere, any location, bite it with a sting or anything you can do, whatever you want. There will be no limit at all. Okay. So also it will work with your movement. It's gonna like this, but it's gonna down like that. But remember one thing, the leg should be projected on that surface. So it's very important. You should create your proper diagrammatic flow and this global control. Now, why the global control is important? See, for example, this creature might be walking on the wall or walking on the ceiling. Then what happens? It might be needed to rotate everything. It's very easy to do that. We can rotate it inside the wall or the ceiling, but without the help of this global controller, you cannot able to do that. Even it will work fine. There will be no issue at all. Okay. Not only that, we can also scale it down. If you have a child baby of this scorpion, so how we can do that? We can scale it and you can create a very tiny and copy it again or import it another side by side. So it's very fine. Or we can rotate or we can also move it along with our requirement. So these are the basic concept of it. Definitely there are a lot of possibilities that we can do with this creature and never ending process. So we already end up this session, but before going to do that, there should be a question answer session. So I would love to answer some of the question. If you have any, you can directly ask. Am I audible to all of you?
Hello students. So this is a very absolutely fine training session. Very interesting training session is going on. So if you have any questions, so please ask. Please ask. Don't write on the chat box because this is very difficult for a demonstrator to switch back and forth. So please ask if you have any question. Yes, sir. You are audible. Your voice is coming fine. So this is 4:30. So if you have any questions, please ask. We are waiting. Sir is waiting for you.
Yes, you can ask in Hindi or English.
Yes, yes.
No,
In any language. अगर आप हिंदी में सुविधा है तो हिंदी में क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं. Sir is waiting to answer those your issues and all those things, whatever you are facing, whatever you want that sir will repeat a certain part that he can do also. But our time is very less. This is already 4:30. अगर आपका मन में कुछ भी दुविधा है, कुछ भी पोर्शन है जो क्लियर नहीं है, तो वो पूछ सकते हैं आप. And please at the end,
कोई भी
yes,
आप
yes.
लोगों को कोई भी अगर लग रहा है कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम है and if you not comfortable with it, you can ask. हिंदी में आप पूछ सकते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
Yes, 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 exactly. And at the end of this session, kindly give your feedback. I have already shared the link to the chat box, and I'm waiting for another half an hour so that this is very important for us to take the feedback from all of you. So please raise your hand and ask question. This is all about the interactive session, so don't hesitate to ask any question.
Yes, if you are not asking us, how could we understand what
Yes,
exactly
yes, that's the thing. Yes. अगर आप कोई सवाल नहीं पूछेंगे तो हम लोगों को भी कुछ जानकारी नहीं होगा कि आप कितने मतलब कितना तक आपको समझ में आया. Because the journey begins at your end, means आपको ज्वाइन करना है इंडस्ट्री, तो ये सब चीज टेक्निकल जो चीज है जो सर इतना देर से बहुत अच्छे से डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कर रहा था कैसे कैसे जो टेक्निकलिटीज है. So please raise your voice, ask questions. We will be very glad if you ask any question. Thank you. So Sujay sir, I think we should wait for another 5 to 10 minutes so that if they have any question or any issue.
It's okay. It's okay. I just opened my bit of advanced file. I already work on it.
Okay.
So then it might be good. They can also
Yeah, yeah.
understand.
Okay. Okay.
Save the file, and I already completed this week for all of you people. So I switch it on so that you can also understand what is the outcome.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, can you tell me the difference between that you did P button and constraint parent? Is there any difference in that, or they are same?
Yeah. Very good question. Definitely, I will answer it. So remember one thing, when I jump to the constraint section, we have several constraints, and inside that parent constraint is also there. You select it. You may found there is translation and rotate. No scale option is there. But if you hit P from your keyboard, then everything gonna merge up together, like transformation, rotation, and scale. That is the basic difference between both of these. But if you try to do it this parent constraint, then you have to apply the parent constraint first. Then again you have to apply the scale constraints, because scale constraint is separate constraint. And अगर आप P साथ में दबा देते हो, so it will merge up with everything. So this is the basic difference. And another part is also that when you hit constraint like parent or something, यहाँ पे option आता है. For example, मैं अगर आप लोगों को दिखाऊं, यहाँ पे पकड़ लीजिए, यहाँ पे मेरा एक स्फीयर है और उसका मेरा एक कंट्रोलर्स है जो कि मैं यूज करना चाहता हूँ इसके. ओके, सो आई सिलेक्ट दिस एंड सिलेक्ट दैट, और मैं P प्रेस नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं पेरेंट कंस्ट्रेंट कर रहा हूँ यहाँ से. तो पेरेंट कंस्ट्रेंट तो हो चुका है. अभी अगर आप लोग इसको सिलेक्ट कीजिएगा तो यहाँ पे देखिए, यहाँ पे स्केल कंस्ट्रेंट नहीं है. सो वी हैव टू स्केल इट सेपरेटली. तो इसको सिलेक्ट कीजिए और देन वी हैव टू हिट स्केल, देन ओनली इट विल कनेक्ट. नाउ देयर इज अनदर प्रॉब्लम विद इट. अगर मैं यहाँ पे इसको सिलेक्ट करता हूँ, सो वी हैव सम ऑप्शंस, लाइक ऐसा कि इसको सिलेक्ट किया तो यहाँ पे जो कंस्ट्रेंट्स है, ये दो टाइप का कंस्ट्रेंट्स आ रहा है. एक तो पेरेंट कंस्ट्रेंट्स है और दूसरा की स्केल कंस्ट्रेंट्स है ना. एवरीथिंग कंसिस्ट विद ए वेट वैल्यू. इस देखिए W लिखा हुआ है, W का अर्थ है वेट. दैट मीन्स इफ यू हिट वेट 0, एवरीथिंग गोना ruined up, तो मतलब कुछ भी नहीं होगा. तो कहीं कहीं पे हम लोग पेरेंट कंस्ट्रेंट जब यूज करते हैं, अगर देखिए मैं स्केल कर रहा हूँ इसको, इट विल नॉट गोना स्केल. स्केल नहीं हो रहा है लेकिन डिस्टेंस बढ़ रहा है, क्योंकि पेरेंट हिसाब से बड़ा हो रहा है तो डिस्टेंस बढ़ रहा है, स्केल नहीं हो पा रहा है. क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? क्योंकि मैं इसका वैल्यू 0 करके रखा हूं, जैसे मैं 1 करूंगा वो अपना स्केल वैल्यू ले लेगा। सेम थिंग आल्सो हैपन फॉर द पेरेंट, इसमें भी फैक्टर है वेट फैक्टर 0। अगर मैं इसको 0 कर देता हूँ, 1 है बोल के हो रहा है, अगर 0 करता हूँ तो उसका जो ओरिजिन था उस स्पेस में रहेगा। तो ये जो टेक्निकलिटीज है ये पी दबा के होता नहीं है। पी में इफ यू हिट पी इट्स नॉट गोना वर्क ऑन दोस थिंग्स। सो कभी कभी हम लोगों का रिक्वायरमेंट जिस हिसाब से हम लोग यूज करते हैं एनिमेशन इंडस्ट्री में, तो उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करके हम लोग को कभी पी प्लेस करना पड़ता है, कभी हम लोग पेरेंट कंस्ट्रेंट करते हैं along with the scale constraint। ठीक है, समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So one more thing, can you tell us a little bit about skinning?
A little bit about what?
Skinning.
Skinning, fine. So actually I can
Bind.
give you, I can give you a basic idea, but it will need another session for that if you want. So
Yes.
because skinning is a vast part, it will take a very long time to finish. Skinning actually is a process by which you can attach the mesh along with the joints. This is the basic funda. Now there are several type of skinning mechanism here. Like if you hit the skin, there is a bind to, मतलब किस तरह का ऑब्जेक्ट को आप ज्वाइन करना चाहते हो। यहाँ पे there are two options, 2 to 3 options: selected joints, object hierarchy, or bind method, which is Geodex by voxel is a very fast method of doing skin joints। ये पहले नहीं था। mice always work with the closest distance. Now problem is that sometimes closest distance work fine if you have very tiny objects. If you have very lengthy object, I mean to say very complex, something like that, तो better है कि आप Geodex voxel को यूज कीजिए। So it gives you less effort, आपका ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा। और मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम जो इन्फ्लुएंस है दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रिगार्डिंग योर बोन जॉइंट्स। मतलब अगर आपका बोन चेन में, एक चेन में फॉर एग्जांपल जो चेन में यहाँ पे दिखा रहा था आप लोगों को पहले, यहाँ पे देखिए 1 2 3 4 जॉइंट्स, और मैं यहाँ पे जो वैल्यू डाला हुआ है वो यहाँ पे 5 किया हुआ है। दैट मीन्स अगर मैं कभी भी इस बोन जॉइंट्स को कनेक्ट करता हूँ तो ये सब जॉइंट एक साथ अटैच हो जाएगा। लेकिन अगर आपको ऐसा नहीं चाहिए, so you can reduce maybe 2, maybe 1, maybe 3, that is very important. So those are very common features, आप इसको चेंज करके देख सकते हो। तो एक बेसिक थिंग है, और उसके बाद जो हम लोग पेंटिंग करते हैं वो तो टोटली अलग एक डिपार्टमेंट है। सो आई थिंक आई कैनॉट एक्सप्लेन राइट नाउ, मतलब टाइम तो ज्यादा नहीं है इसलिए, लेकिन मैं डेफिनेटली अगर कभी पॉसिबल है तो डेफिनेटली मैं तुम लोगों को दिखा सकता हूँ।
Okay, sir.
Okay,
You can
there is
ask.
a question. Yeah, there is a question
Yes.
from John Monsichalon to everyone that why should we draw circle on the part of the scorpion? Hi, John, are you
Right.
there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can ask. Okay, instead of writing.
Yes, John. Exactly what your question, like this circle, you are talking about this circle or talking about this tiny little bit of circles?
Yeah, the inside one.
This one, bigger one.
No, the inside one, sir. The yellow one.
Inside. Okay, fine. I got your point. Now, John, the thing is that those are not the circles. Those are called the controllers. It
Okay.
might be circle, or I may change the structure like this. That is not the mandatory thing that you have to take the circles.
Okay.
This is non-renderable elements. You may change the shape and form whatever you want. It's just an graphical present that you can change the structure in different manner. So we don't have enough time, so only for that we are taking the round and round structure. But if you have enough time, so I will suggest you may also create possible structures that is very good and very easy to understandable by the animators of the industry. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we are using those things, and by selecting those features we can able to rotate the other parts of the body. Fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now this is an animated one. If I'm just playing this, okay, that has a very long gun barrel and which is target, and then just try to fire it out. When it has a jerk. Definitely, this is a small demonstration, and I already put some eye controllers here, because if you want to move the eye, then I also follow that thing. And not only that, you can also select right or left, and then you can rotate or move, or maybe you can want to scale it also. It's a scary thing, or it's a funny thing. Okay, bigger eye gives you a funny look, but very small eye gives you a very like what I say, it's a horrible picture. So that can be possible.
Okay, so any other question you want to ask, please? Because we are already 4:41. Is there any question, any doubt? So please ask. Or we can end up with this session.
I think they don't have any enough question right now.
I think so. They don't have any question right now. So thanks, Mr. Sujay, to give this wonderful the presentation, the wonderful time to all of us. Okay, so I think students will be getting benefit out of it, and in future they will apply these techniques to do the rigging like that. Okay, so
Yeah, this is also a very great opportunity for me to represent myself and my skills and techniques and my achievements, whatever I develop from my industry, to share with all of you people, so that the knowledge also be transferable, and that is very good thing. And
yes,
I would
yes.
love to say that yes, if any of one candidate can get benefited with my session, then that will be my very pleasure.
Yes, yes, yes. That is our main objective. The student will learn something and apply those things in their future journey. So, hello students, how is your, how do you like this session? So please give your valuable feedback. Don't miss to give, to fill up this form which I have shared, the link on chat group. I'm waiting here for another 20 to 30 minutes so that you can have this link. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sujay,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
for your time. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I just leave, okay?
Yes. Yes. You can. You may.
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, bye all of the students. We'll meet again.
Yes. Yes. We will meet definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So please fill up this form, this feedback form. I'm waiting for your feedback for another 15 to 20 minutes. I've already shared the link on your to this chat box. So please click on this link and give your feedback. Oh, you don't have any access to the link. Okay. 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 Hello, sir. Yes, yes. There is a problem that students are not getting the access of that particular form. Okay, okay. Yes, it is. It has been ended. Yes, it is ended right now. So I'm waiting for their feedback. No, no. Yes, actually, they are right now at the end. Just before 1 minute, the session has been ended. So they are now filling up the form. Okay, 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 okay. So can you please give that right to the students so that yes. Mhm. It has been closed, but I keep it on because you know. Yes, yes, yes. Now students have not left. They are filling up the form. They want to fill up the form that I'm requesting for that
I have
feedback
not
form.
got the
Yes,
access to that.
and they are waiting. They are there already. Okay, okay. Please, please.